there. Thank you very much for joining Yin Yoga. As usual, we have the 3 guidelines in Yin that we hold for time, which allows us to sometimes go a little bit deeper into the stretch. We go to our edge, and also we stay mindful of sensations in the body, and we want to feel about say 50% sensation, and then as time goes on the sensations might become less, and we can see if we can go a little bit deeper. We're just being patient with ourselves and knowing our limits. So we'll start today with child pose, and we're going to hold child pose for about 3 to 4 minutes. So if you have a block, maybe, so we have the big toes together and the knees apart slightly, and the block could just rest there. We bring the head forward, we rest the head either on the mat, or you can rest the head on the hands or on a block as well. And then, as it's the first pose of the evening, we just want to assess first of all the focus on these sensations in the body. And child pose for some people is quite strong, so it takes, hopefully, if we just focus as much as we can on the sensations that we're noticing, that can take our mind from the thoughts of the day. So as you focus on the sensations, maybe notice the ankles resting on the mat. Notice the shins on the mat. Maybe the chest is resting on the thighs. You might feel, if the arms are stretched out in front, you might feel the stretch in the armpits and the chest area. And then moving to sensations you notice in the body as you breathe. So you might notice the air in and out of the nostrils, or you might notice the chest expanding or the tummy expanding when you inhale. Even the side ribs could be expanding as you inhale. You could savour the exhale and draw out your exhale to encourage this rest and digest system that we want to work on in Yin Yoga. It's about 3 or 4 deep breaths. Slowly lifting back up. Just coming onto all fours and extending the right foot away, straightening out the right leg, and then the left leg. So just opening up the back of the legs. Coming to lie on our backs. So we do, some weeks we do as a counter pose or the rebound, we do windshield wipers. So here the knees are apart, the feet are apart, going down side to side. So the more we can bring the knees down to the side, the more we're stretching out the side of the hip. So next we're going to move into the yin pose, which is reclining windshield wipers. We're going to hold the stretch on each side statically. So you might need a block, but first of all, lying down on your back. So again, feet apart and knees apart, and then we're taking our knees down to our right hand side. And the arms are out at the side with the palms facing up, and we want to feel that both shoulders are resting into the floor, the shoulder blades. Also the chin is towards the chest. And then we edge the right foot, so it's trying to draw down that left knee towards the floor. And over time it will happen. It's a stretch for our hip flexors and our quad muscles and the femur joint. If you feel any pain, don't bring your right foot onto your left thigh. It might feel okay or it might not. If you need to, you could rest your left knee or thigh on a block, which might help. So we're going to hold here for 3 minutes on this side. We're going to focus mainly on breathing deeply into the diaphragm. So full diaphragmatic breaths. So the inhale, the tummy expands, the side ribs and the chest expand. And then the exhale all the way from the chest, side ribs and the tummy. Notice that the right foot's slipping off the left thigh or it feels uncomfortable, just bring the right foot to the floor. Still staying aware of breathing in as deeply as you can and breathing out as deeply as you can. another 3 deep breaths. Slowly bring our knees back to the centre and adjust the back so the back's pressing into the floor, and we'll bring both knees in towards the chest. For the counter pose here, thinking of the rebound, so noticing completely sensations in the body as we keep the right knee hugged into the chest and left foot and left leg extending along the floor. Try to extend the left heel away and the toes towards the face, so the left leg is straight and strong. And slowly changing side, so hugging the left knee in towards the chest, extend the right foot, right leg along the floor. So right heel away, toes towards the face. And slowly release the left leg. Then we change sides, so windshield wipers the other side. So feet apart and knees apart, and then slowly releasing both knees to your left. You might want to walk the right heel away a little bit. So your right knee is in line with your right hip, and then if you want to, you can draw your left ankle so it's resting on the outside of the right knee. You might need to just shuffle your shoulders so they're in the centre of the mat, but we want to keep that right knee so it's in line with the right hip. And holding here for 3 minutes. And again, you can have the hands extended out to the side with the palms up. If this doesn't feel good for your right knee, you can bring a block underneath the right knee, or a cushion or a blanket maybe. Takes the pressure off the knee joint. And if you find it quite hard to focus on just the breathing, just the body breathing, it sometimes helps to count the inhale and count the exhale. So if you go for a 10-second breath, count slowly, inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And slowing the breath right down to 6 breaths per minute. bringing the arms down slowly, releasing the foot off the knee and bringing the knees up, knees into the chest again, maybe knees side to side. This time keep hugging the left knee in towards the chest, extend the right foot and the leg along the floor, push the heel away, toes towards the face. Change sides, so right knee towards the chest, left leg extends along the floor, heel away, toes towards the face. And both knees now in to the chest, just hugging the knees in, side to side. And we're going to use the tummy muscles to roll up to seated. Okay, so now we're going to try figure 4 first of all, seated, and then reclining figure 4. So for figure 4, it's a great stretch for the hips, the piriformis and the glutes. So we start by just having the hands out at the side with the fingertips either back or out to the side. And we might need to take the feet further away, and then the right ankle is over the left thigh. So first of all, quite young and active, so chest forward and knee kind of away. And then if we can, we draw that left foot in a little bit, which intensifies the stretch. So this is great to do obviously seated like this, but also on a chair. We can do it while we're at the desk or after we've maybe had a long drive in the car. The main thing is not to let the back round like this. Keep the chest forward and the shoulders back. We're just holding here maybe for about 6 deep breaths before we go on to the reclining figure 4. So coming onto the elbows to lower down to reclining figure 4. So now we can draw that left foot in a little bit, push the right knee away a little bit, and then drawing the foot off the floor, the left foot off the floor. So we can either draw the hands underneath, interlock the fingers, thread the hands through the triangle that the leg has made, either behind the left thigh or on top of the left shin. If you have any knee problems, we can flex the toes and push our heels away. That helps to stabilise the muscles around the knee. So if the left foot kind of gets tired, if you've got a wall nearby, you can press your foot against the wall, which is quite nice. Staying here for about 3 minutes. another 6 breaths. Try to make them be 10-second breath, or even longer if you can. Breathe in deeper, breathe out deeper. Slowly releasing the right ankle, bringing the knees into the chest and maybe pointing and flexing the toes first of all, maybe drawing circles with the toes, and then stretching both legs up towards the ceiling, so the soles of the feet are up towards the ceiling. Feel the stretch now, the energy up the back of the legs, the rebound, the energy circulating the prana or the chi. So just holding up there for about another 3 deep breaths. Slowly bend the knees again, knees into the chest, rolling up to seated. Slowly drawing the tummy in as we roll up. And changing to figure 4 the other side. So we want the chest forward, a bit more active or yang style here. So opposite side. So this time the left foot over the right knee, and the right foot can be away. First of all, the left knee pushes out to the side or pushes down, and then if we want to, we can draw the right foot closer in. The main thing is to keep the chest forward and the back nice and straight, not rounded, because it takes away the effectiveness of the stretch. So remember, where we place the feet will affect how intense the stretch is. So 6 breaths in the seated figure 4 first. Coming to lie on our backs for reclining figure 4, releasing down to our elbows, releasing slowly. So the whole of the back resting into the mat, left knee away, and taking the right foot off the floor. If we remember to flex the toes if we have any knee issues. So the hands this time come underneath the right knee or interlock the fingers and rest the hands on the right shin. Again, as we move into the pose, we want to notice where we feel the effect of the yin pose. So it could be the outer left hip or the piriformis. About 3 minutes again. So as we've noticed sensations, physical sensations in the body, we can start to pay attention again to the deep breath, the deepest breath, all the way to the top of the inhale, not rushing the in-breath, really drawing out the out-breath. Another 3 deep breaths. Bringing the right foot to the floor and the left foot to the floor. First of all, bringing the knees into the chest, taking the knees side to side. And then with awareness, notice the energy in the backs of the legs as we extend the feet up towards the ceiling. Try and push the heels away, toes towards the face. And hold for 3 deep breaths again. Really bring the knees back into the chest. And then notice sensations in the feet, in the toes, in the ankles. Might be tingling. If we hold the feet in the air for maybe 3 deep breaths is enough, and then we bring the feet back down, the energy again is circulating and rushing around the feet. And we're going to roll up again, drawing the tummy in, roll up slowly to seated. Okay, so next we're coming into Sphinx, to strengthen the back a little bit and to open up the front of our body. So with Sphinx, if we want to, we can have switched on thighs where we're drawing the kneecaps up and switched on glutes, but we don't really need to. If we're doing Hatha yoga, we do Sphinx more switched on. The only time you really might want to switch on the thighs and the glutes is if you have any back issues. It just helps to protect the back a little bit. As long as you're not going too deep into anything though, you don't really need to engage in Yin. So where we place the elbows can make a difference, so they can be a little bit more forward to ease off. or closer in. So we're going to hold for about 5 minutes, maybe trying some different arm positions and feet positions. So again, in Sphinx, the head position as well can change. So we can take the head back a little bit, or we can rest our chin on our chest so we feel the quite a nice stretch through the back of the neck. So a deeper Sphinx would be to rest the elbows on a block or a cushion or a blanket to create more of a deeper back bend. So maybe you could try that. Definitely feel more compression here in the lower back. So the spine is flexing more. No, extending more, extension of the spine. So flexion is what we do probably too much of in our day-to-day activities. So this is what we want to do to counteract that. So again, it's your practice, and if that doesn't feel comfortable at all, we've all got different spine, different fusions. What we're trying to do is undo them, but not going too deep. And then another hand position maybe would be to bring the hands out at the side and with the arms straight. This is called seal. So that feels too much for me. I feel like I can hardly talk, so I know that's too deep for me. Another option to go deeper into Sphinx would be to lift the feet, which is a deeper stretch now for the quad muscles, maybe the hip flexors. Slowly lower the feet, and we can try, or keep the feet up if that feels okay. We can try the Sphinx with the bow tie. So right elbows in front, and then we're trying to extend the fingers away. So we're opening the chest, opening the shoulder blades, rest our chin on our right upper arm. lift up slowly to change the sides of the bow tie. So this time your left elbow's in front, and I definitely notice that the fingertips won't go as far apart, must be tighter in my right shoulder, and my chin is resting on the upper left arm. Slowly lifting up and then resting in crocodile. So bring your hands forward and rest your forehead on your hands, and if you like to release off the back a bit, you can draw your right knee up towards the right elbow. Just rest there. Draw the right knee down slowly. Draw the left knee up toward the left elbow. Draw the left knee back down. Maybe wiggle the hips side to side. And then bring your hands by your chest. Press into the hands to push up to tabletop. And then slowly, for a few breaths, bring the bottom to the heels for child pose. So you can extend the fingertips forward, which gives you with a flat back and opens your chest and opens your armpits, or you can bring your hands so the forehead rests on the hands, or you can bring the backs of your hands to rest by your feet and the forehead rests on the mat. And lift up slowly. Okay, so next pose I'm going to try is half saddle. So saddle is compression for the back but opening for the front of the body. So similar to Sphinx. So if saddle doesn't work, I'll just show you deer pose. So deer is left shin is in line with the front of your mat and right knees going back. Then you're bringing your elbows forward. So the more you can take your right knee back, the more stretch you'll get up the right hip flexor, the right quad muscle. And you might find the tension in the right hip. Okay, so that's deer. Or saddle is the left leg is extended forward and the right foot is by your right hip. So you can sit up like that, or we can release down onto the elbows. So the more you lower you go, the more stretch you get in your right quad. So you could also have some blocks behind, so you could go further back, but try not to throw your head back. So we might need to set up maybe 2 sets of blocks. We can rest the head. So again, where your feet go makes a difference. So the feet could be out further at the side, knees together. So if saddle is too much, or half saddle is too much, and you're not really feeling much in deer, which is that one, you could try for swan. So I'll just show you swan. So swan is the same with the left shin forward. With swan we take the right leg back so it's straight and the hands are on the floor. Okay, so your left hip might be up quite a lot, so you bring a block just to go underneath your left hip or your left buttock. So swan, we could have proud swan with the chest forward, or sleeping swan with the elbows on the mat, resting on the mat, or even the head resting on the mat. So there would be deer, or sleeping swan, proud swan, or half saddle. And the main target area here is your right hip flexors, your psoas muscles, or your quad muscles. It's about another 6 or so breaths. So whichever stretch you were doing, coming to all fours, take your time. So the knees have been bent, so we're extending the left foot slowly, straight left leg, straight right leg. If you like, we can lift up into a gentle down dog, so turning the toes under. And feel the stretch in the toes first, feel the stretch in the soles of the feet, and we're lifting the knees off the mat. And drawing the chest to the thighs, maybe straighten the legs together or one at a time. Nice stretch out for the calves. Bring the knees back to the mat. Ready for deer or half saddle or swan. So deer is the right shin comes, so it's at the front of the mat and the left knee is back and the elbows resting forward. And see if that's enough maybe, or swan. So the swan is the left leg is straight either chest forward, hands pressing into the mat, or elbows forward. Or half saddle, so half saddle here, the right leg's forward, the left foot's by the left hip. We can either stay lifted or we can release back to rest, feeling the stretch now in the left quad or the left hip flexor. Use your blocks if you need to. Another 3 breaths. Whichever pose you've chosen, we stretch out the legs and come to lying on our backs with the legs out straight. And stretch both arms above the head. Take a deep breath in, bring the arms down. Slowly bring the knees in towards the chest. Taking the knees side to side. We're going to see if we can do a stretch now for the ITB, which is runs up the outside of our legs. So we're extending the right leg away and drawing our left foot over our right knee. Drawing the left knee down to the side and shuffling our shoulders over to the right hand side. So we can stay here or we can straighten out the left leg with holding on to the left toes with our right hand and trying to straighten the right leg. But you do need to be quite flexible to keep hold of the toe, and it is quite an intense stretch as well. So try to keep your, try not to lie on your side, try to keep your left shoulder on the floor as well. So You're extending your left hand out to the side, and that left leg can be straight, holding on to the left toes with the right hand, or the left leg is bent and just drawing the left knee down to the floor with the right hand. And 6 more breaths here. Slowly bring the left knee up to the ceiling, stretch out the left leg, then bring the body to the centre of the mat again. We change sides, so now bringing the right foot over the left knee, extend the right hand out to the side with the palm facing up,